Hello viewers, it's Super GT here and welcome to the video. So in this video we're going to be doing a couple of online races in the new Porsche 997 GT2. So for those of you who weren't aware, this car along with another Porsche were free for a limited time. Normally the Porsche pack you would have to pay for, but they gave away two cars for free and this is one of them. So we're just going to go online and do a couple of races, but first I'm going to show you the car itself. So here is the car. I'm tuned up to S2996. It's a rear wheel drive and you'll see later that that really does have a big effect on the way it drives. So let's go to the upgrades to get it up to 996. So for the engine, air filter, fuel system, and then we go along to the twin turbo. I put that in, and now we go to platform. I didn't bother with these because they actually didn't really make the car better apart from the weight reduction, which I did put in. And then we go to the drivetrain. I put in the good clutch and I didn't bother with the rest. So we go to the tyres. There wasn't actually any better tyres, so we actually couldn't do that, but we did make the tyres wider, front and rear. The rims, just put in the lightest ones and you are good to go. And then for the final part, the aero, we did put on the rear spoiler, but we didn't bother with the hood. So that took the car up to 996, which is near enough at the top of S2 class, and we don't bother with the conversion of the engine. So you'll see here we're going to drive the car on the way to the event. Now my first impression was that it drifts very well, which is actually quite good for Forza Online when you're trying to get a lot of XP. So you don't always want a car to be driving as if it's on rails, because sometimes you do want to drift like you do here when you're racking up XP on the way to an event, for example. So yeah, the car does drift very nicely, and this is my first race, so we're going to go ahead and race here. So you can see there's another Porsche 997 just in front of me, and we're in the rain, so we're going to have a bit of trouble getting any grip here. And you can see around the very first corner, go through the fence and I lose a bit of control. Now we're going to have a look at this again, because this car somehow managed to go right through that tiniest of gaps between those two cars. Quite incredible driving there, or probably just pure luck. But anyway, as we carry on, going up into, what position are we now? 6th position in this team race. That car seems to be lagging out a little bit, and we got up the inside, but not much really happens in the rest of this race. Apart from just up here, I find out that the brakes aren't totally amazing, although it was downhill and in the wet. So you can see how I smashed that car. I get smashed as well. So it's a bit of shocking driving really from me and from that other guy in the red car. But fortunately we both carry on. But at the end of the race you get massive air there, and I just finished second by quite a margin. So we're going to move on to the second race. Not much happened in that first race really. Let's move on to the second one. So I almost missed the checkpoint straight away. Now you'll notice throughout this race I pushed the car pretty hard, and the main thing I notice about it is that it has so much power, probably too much power if anything. Ideally you'd want a little less power and a little bit more handling, because this car, well, it doesn't handle too badly, but when you're putting down the power it just slides out completely. So maybe even traction control would be advisable when using this car. Now you probably notice I have ABS on for some reason. I don't know why. I would normally turn that off, but it seems to have been left on for whatever reason. So again, unfortunately I'm in second place, and you'll see here that the guy in the lead is actually really quick and really difficult to catch up with. Now I'm not sure if this is the best car for this class, but it's very fun. It is very fun to drive, and it is worth a try, especially if you can get it for free, or if you already have the Porsche pack, then give it a go. If you do the tuning that I did at the beginning of the video, you'll have yourself a very good car for the class. One that's very tricky to control, but rewarding once you can get it right. And you can see here, putting the car into a little bit of a slide, getting it a tiny bit sideways, which is probably the best way to drive it, given that it is rear wheel drive. You want to get a bit of oversteer to get the power, so you can get the power on a little bit earlier. And you can see as I come into this final corner of the circuit or of the track, I totally misjudged this and I get a bit out of control, and I was going to slide very wide, but fortunately I hit that tree and actually probably helped me, because otherwise I would have slid about 4 miles wide. So fortunately hitting that tree actually helped me a bit there. And as we come up to the hill, I'm going to finish second again, which is annoying, but consistent, I suppose. Consistently good. I suppose second isn't too bad. Now we move on to the final race. We're going to go off-road for this one, and you can see here the worst possible time when my controller disconnects. But look at this, fortunately with about half a second to go, just reconnects and we're back in the game, and we managed to start just on time. So that's the most annoying time. It seems to happen a lot to me because I plug in my controller into the back of the Xbox just to keep it fully charged at all times. But sometimes if I pull away too much, the wire comes a bit loose and it disconnects, so I need to remember not to do that. So coming in through that corner, that Ultima GTR goes flying into the tree and goes wide, so I've taken the lead. And the thing about these off-road races, you really have to be careful over all the grass and all the bumps, and this car probably isn't the best one for off-road, but then again no S2 car is that good really. Go through the trees there, a bit risky, but yeah, as I was saying, no S2 car is really that good off-road unless you've really tuned up like a Subaru or something, like a Subaru Impreza, maybe something like that would be really good off-road. But I mean, like a Porsche probably isn't really well suited. So I get a very unlucky bounce as I land over that ramp or that jump, and end up losing 2 positions. So I've inherited 3rd position, but the guys in 1st and 2nd aren't too far ahead. So as long as I can stay here, then perhaps I can pick up the pieces later on. I've already had my bad luck in this race, so hopefully they can have theirs a bit later. So going through the trees here, going downhill very quick, about 150 miles an hour. I get a bit of oversteer, slow down, which probably helps me. I try to make the checkpoint, that slows me down just enough to make sure I don't flip over on that ramp as that other guy did. So actually slowing down a little bit there actually helped me. That's probably a good technique to use when going over these jumps, because you'll see here, or a bit later on, this guy actually fucks up a jump, and I get a massive 2-wheeler over that one. Unfortunately the car doesn't want to flip over on me. So coming round the big left hand at the end of this track, and we are going to take the lead. And at this point here, this guy knew he fucked up, and we are going to inherit the lead at 90%. And so I can finally, it looks like I'm going to win a race in this car. So my overall impressions of the car, it's a very good, very fun car to drive. Very fast, very powerful. Rear-wheel drive makes it very drifty and very slidey, which is good for XP reasons. Helps you maintain combos and drifts, but it's hard to race because it's very because of the oversteering nature. It's hard to keep it on the track at all times. But yeah, that's my little review of the Porsche 997 GT2. Remember to hit the like button if you like the video. I'm looking to get 200,000 likes on this video. If that would be good if I can get that. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.